What is up, everyone? It is Tuesday. It is 12 o'clock Central Time, and I'm excited to be here. My name is Trevor. I'm the CEO of Coach Catalyst, and today we got some fun stuff. It is right now the end of March 25th, and today we are going to be talking about Q2 marketing calendar. Yes, we should be thinking about Q2. It starts in about a week. Probably should have been thinking about this a couple weeks ago, but I wanted to get this on your radar, get you thinking about Q2 so that you can be ready and you can build your business in Q2. Because Q2 can be an interesting time in the coaching industry because it's kind of in this like middle ground time. So let's get to it. Things we're going to talk about today include, we're going to first talk about why attention patterns change and why Q2 matters. Like attention patterns change. There's shifts that are making, and we got to talk through that. We want to think about offers that are converting right now, and then finally we're going to get to like how to get attention when everyone's starting to get distracted with all this like outside stuff. So let me move a few things around here. Like always, this is meant to be an interactive show. So if you do have questions, just drop them. And I've got YouTube going, I've got Facebook going, so just drop those comments in there. Or if you are joining us on Riverside, feel free to drop the comments in Riverside as well. Let me move some things so I can see all the comments. Perfect. Cool. Well, let's get to it. So number one is like Q2 is different than Q1, right? Q1 is really around this like new year, new you, and what we're really talking about here, and the difference is like the client's psychographic. So what are they thinking? Right? What are they thinking about during this time period? We want to try and match our marketing. We want to try and match our message with the conversation that's going on in the client's head. And so if you're dealing with like Gen Pop, if you're dealing with like everyday individuals, if you're dealing with parents, right, there's some predictability around the year. And Q1 is all about like new year, new you, whatever you want to call it, right? But it's this kind of like, I'm going to jump into new habits, new routines, all of that. So people are ready to go. There's 3 times during the year when this stuff starts to happen, right? It's the new year time. It's the before summertime, Q2, which we're going to talk about here. And it's also the back to school time. So those are like 3 key times during the year when we really want to start matching our marketing message with the conversation that's going on in people's heads. So Q2, what is the conversation that's going on in people's heads? If you are working with people in northern climates, right? Q2 means spring. It means we're getting out of winter. I'm in Minnesota, right? It's 50 degrees today, 45 degrees today. That's awesome for us, right? We just got out of the chill, we got out of the negatives, and now we're moving into warmer weather, right? And so my message can't still be this new year, new you type of message because people aren't thinking about that. They're starting to think about going outside. They're starting to think about getting rid of the sweaters, and they're starting to get into t-shirts and tank tops. And for us in Minnesota, we have what's called lake season, which essentially starts on Memorial Day and runs through the summer as long as it's hot, right? And so most kind of northern climates have this kind of beach season. If you're on the coast, we're getting into the beaches, that kind of thing. And so our message should start to talk about that stuff. You know, feel amazing by summer, confident at the pool, and maybe it's energy for kids' baseball games, right? But we're starting to speak to the conversation that's going on inside of people's heads, right? And then we also have to think about like adjusting our rhythm a little bit as well. We need some urgency here. We need some urgency. We have some nice markers inside of the year, if you're inside of the US, that help with this urgency, Memorial Day being one of them. Some shorter campaigns during this time. I like to run a little bit longer campaigns in January, even in the back to school time, just because those times of the year lend themselves better to potentially a 6 or 8 week campaign. In the springtime, I like a little bit shorter, 21 days, 4 weeks. People want just a little bit of a sprint to get started and feel their best when summer hits. So we use Memorial Day really as our endpoint. We want to be getting everything ready to go by Memorial Day. So I think Memorial Day this year is like May 25th or something like that. And so we want to be ending there. So that means that we got to be starting in like mid-April. That means we got to be starting. That means we need to be finished. We need to be marketing in like a couple of weeks, right? So if you are going to run something that ends on Memorial Day, it's called a 4-week something. April 25th is when people should be starting. 2 to 3 weeks before that, we should start marketing. 3 is probably a little bit overkill. 2 weeks before that, we can start leading it up. So honestly, like when April hits, we should be starting to kind of hint and talk about this new program that's coming, that's going to help your client, your ideal prospect, your perfect client achieve X by Memorial Day, right? Maybe that's a hard concrete thing like lose 10 pounds. Maybe it's more a little bit abstract, like feeling confident by the pool. But you have to know your client, right? You have to know the conversation that's going on in their head, what's important to them, right? And then we speak to that and we use Memorial Day as like the finish line. We're going to be ready for here because then summer hits and you're going to be ready to go. Okay, so when we talk about like big programs, that's really how our marketing needs to shift. A little bit shorter, okay, a little bit shorter, not quite as long, and let's really think about getting some urgency with it starts on this date and goes to Memorial Day, just because we have those pieces that are aligning really well because of this time of year, right? We have that really nice endpoint. So we really have to just think about our marketing needs to shift. People are outside more, they're distracted, there's less phone time, all that kind of stuff. And so we need to be really to the point at this time of year, but people are thinking about it. And so we just need to put the offer out there. They're thinking about summer, they're thinking about tank tops, they're thinking about pools, they're thinking about lakes. Like, people are having those thoughts, and we need to start having those conversations in our emails, in the short form content that we're creating now on social media, really anywhere that we're creating content or we're advertising, right? We should be thinking about those things. So, all right, the next thing, and I kind of alluded to this in part one, but let's talk a little bit about like the offers that we should be thinking about right now. And so I'll just give you some easy ones. Transform in 4 is one we're going to be running at our facility. It's a 4-week program. It's really meant to help clients with weight loss. It's a 4-week sprint. The goal is about 10 pounds in that 4 weeks, which is very doable, especially if you're executing. It's a whole food type of approach where we're doing lots of fruits and lots of vegetables, lots of protein. We're being cognizant of carbs, right? Manipulating carbs a little bit based upon our body type and how quickly we want to get our results. And so that's what we're running. It's inside of Coach Catalyst. So if you're a Coach Catalyst user, you can find that. Just go into the marketplace programs, marketplace, search for Transform in 4. You're going to see it there. We updated this one recently, so it's fresh, it's new. So even if you've run it a few years ago, it's going to be new and fresh. Your clients will think it's a brand new program. But there's heavy on education. Every day you get a little short lesson, not very long, 300 to 500 words to help educate the client. And then there's going to be a lot of accountability. Typically, we have 4 to 5 accountability items every single day. We usually go something like compliant breakfast, compliant lunch, compliant dinner, no snacking, drink 2 liters of water, or 30 minutes of movement. We kind of mix those ones up. But just basically our main pillars, right? You could structure it around like a 75 hard type thing if you want to do that, if that's kind of your crowd, but that's really irrelevant. The education is going to help them be successful. So check that out, Transform in 4, if you just go to the marketplace. And then we've built all the marketing for it as well inside of Supercoach CRM. So that's part of our spring bundle right now. You get Transform in 4, you get Summer Slim Down, you get a few other programs in there, lead magnets, a ton of content. And all of the automations, everything done for you, where you can just go in, put your colors, flavors on it with just a few clicks. So if you do need help with that, check that out. It's the Super Spring Bundle. I've been emailing about it, so check your emails. Tomorrow is the last day, and I'm recording this on Tuesday, so Wednesday at midnight is the last day. That's what we're running, but run whenever you want. Spring Reset, 21-day Slim Down, Busy Parent Jumpstart, whatever we want. Right, whatever makes sense for your market. So, any of these episodes, right? All of this comes back to understanding your perfect client at the deepest level. What's important to them? What's going on in their life during this period? Because the better we can understand them, the better we can speak to the conversation that's going on in their head. And then, if we're speaking to the conversation, speaking to the problems that they have right now, they're going to connect with us because we're going to be able to solve the problems that are in their life right now. The problems that your ideal client has, your perfect client has in Q2 is different than Q1. So we need to identify those and create around them content to help solve it, free content to help solve it, programs to help solve it. But just insert yourself into the conversation in in that client's head. So summer typically becomes a really chaotic period for a lot of people. For us at our facilities, we see people now that are going to the lakes on weekends a lot, sometimes taking off on Thursdays. The nice thing for us is we get all of our winter birds back for the summer to keep training, but understanding your client and what's going on. So we kind of need to go a little bit shorter. I like a little bit shorter. I like ending at Memorial Day. I like about 4 weeks during this time frame. It's a nice sprint. It's long enough where you can get some people some great results. But it's short enough where someone feels like they can fit it into everything else that's going on. And then ultimately, right, if we're running something that's 4 weeks long, unless our entire business model is based around challenges, which some people's are, but they have really, really big audiences, the goal is then to move them into a normal coaching program afterwards. But we need to get a chance at coaching them before we move into any sort of long-term relationship. So we want to kind of get them results in advance. So we want that kind of front end offer to open the door. Some call it a low barrier offer, but like a 4-week challenge program, whatever you want to call it, whatever language makes sense for your market, whatever resonates with your market. Let's call it that, right? So 4-week sprint here, and then you can tie in. Cool thing about spring too is we can start to tie in with other things that are going on. 5Ks are starting to come up. So could we build a relationship with anyone that's running a 5K in our local community, right? Even if we're an online coach, we can find a way to partner with local organizations that are running things in the spring that our ideal clients are going to be at, right? So we got 5Ks that are happening. There's other events that are coming up at the end of the year. We've got end of the school year for a lot of people. So can we tie in there? But like, can we just kind of tie these promos into local events that are going on, right? We want to just try and be as relevant to what's going on in people's heads. So what we're seeing working right now, this 4-week challenge, we're going to be running it. There's a lot of the Coach Catalyst community that's going to be running it in some variation, but these work. Like, challenges are not dead. People love them and they're not going anywhere. And they're a great way for people to get started with what you're doing. But they need to be aware of what you're doing. And so that's where your content and wherever you have reach, maybe it's on social media, maybe it's an email list, which I highly suggest you do keep building that email list. Maybe it's local joint ventures where you're partnering with a local running club or a local running store or a 5K or other events that are starting to happen, right? Who is looking or who already has the audience that you want that is complementary, right? Where we're not competing at all. So just start spinning the wheels a little bit on how you can execute there. So the other piece that we need to start thinking about is during this time is like people are probably a little bit more distracted as we're starting to get outside. We're starting to move around more. We've got end of the school year stuff if you're dealing with parents. So we've just got a lot more things that we're juggling. And so, all right, what's that conversation, right? And now how can we be relevant to that conversation? Is there something around a spring break survival guide? Is there something around like parent-friendly meal prep that only takes 15 minutes? Is there how to stay on track while traveling? Like, what can we create now that will be interesting for our ideal perfect client? Because we don't necessarily need to move people into our 4-week program. Can we create something where someone can give us their email address, called a lead magnet, right? And they can get on our email list, and then potentially in the follow-up sequence, we can invite them to our 4-week challenge, right? So sometimes it's better to go to something that you're giving away, a giveaway of sorts, than just, hey, come join my challenge or come join my 4-week program. So is there something that you can give away that solves a problem that a client is having right now that's relevant? And then in the follow-up sequence, we can invite them into that kind of paid program, right? So it can be something simple, right? Spring break survival guide, right? Or parent-friendly meal prep, 15 minutes, whatever makes sense, however you deliver things. That's what we should be thinking about from a lead gen standpoint. We don't necessarily need to directly go to that 4-week challenge. We can go lead gen and in the follow-up, invite them into the 4-week challenge. Or when we start doing the launch for the 4-week challenge, we now have a bigger email list to be able to launch to. Yeah, does that make sense? So if you are listening, if you have questions, if you have specific scenarios, if you want me to kind of walk through what you've got going on, I'm happy to give ideas. Just drop it in the comments, YouTube, Facebook, or I've got it open here on Riverside as well. The other things that we can do too, as things potentially start to slow down, is can you go a little bit more personal during this time period? Right? Have you slacked off a little bit on sending people maybe voice memos, sending clients voice memos, sending out personalized videos to leads that are coming in? Can we send more texts and warm links? Can we go deeper on the connection piece during this period? Right? Because coaching, no matter what it is, business coaching, nutrition coaching, fitness coaching, life coaching, whatever, this is a human experience. And so the more human conversations we can have, the better our conversion rates are going to be, the more clients we're going to have. I don't have actual data on this, but I would be willing to bet a lot of money that the more human conversations that you have, the more clients you have. So the coaches that have the most conversations, human conversations, have the most clients. Every day of the week, I would bet that. Because this is a human experience. People need to be connected to you as a coach or to your organization. They need to see you guys as humans that can solve their problem and have solved that problem for lots of other people. And so having those conversations. Can we do some of the unscalable things, right? Sending out personal voice memos, sending out personalized videos, right? With our current clients, but also with potential leads too. Like all of those things go a long ways in getting someone to trust us. And then can you bring personality to your marketing in Q2? A lot of coaches get into this industry because they personally made a change. They lost the weight. They made the change. They gained the muscle, whatever, right? They personally went through. A lot of people in the coaching industry went through an experience personally. And now they've been able to maintain that transformation in whatever it is for months, years, decades. And they're now teaching other people how to do the same, right? And so many times clients think about coaches as kind of like superhuman. So this can be a good time for you to talk about your own struggles. You can talk about the challenges that you're facing right now and the processes or maybe systems or how you're handling them. That can be some of the best content because it's human content. People are relating to you as a human. And so did you get away from some of that content in Q1? Can we now start to produce some of that content in Q2 and really get people to connect with us at a human level? Right. And so this is where having a nice marketing calendar, understanding what we're talking about, you can utilize AI. AI is a phenomenal tool for brainstorming. It's a phenomenal tool for creating outlines. It is an absolute time saver. For almost all of these episodes, I will put into ChatGPT the concepts that I want to talk about, the concepts that I want to get across inside of an episode, and I will have it create an outline. It will give me bullet points to be able to talk through. It'll help me brainstorm, and I can help it refine the message. So it's easier for me to help deliver that message, right? That I want to deliver to coaches. And so don't be afraid of these tools. These tools are incredibly powerful. ChatGPT is one I use on a regular basis. Another one that I just started playing with is called Manus, M-A-N-U-S. It's absolutely incredible. It is like an assistant. And so that's like the next level, and it's pretty crazy how awesome this stuff is getting. But it allows you to just produce at a much higher level. One thing I talked about, I don't remember where this was, but maybe it was last week with email marketing, right? You could easily create one video, or you could answer, let's say, 10 client questions, right? On video, you can answer 10 client questions. You can just go through them, and it'll maybe take you an hour. Right, where you're 2 or 3 minutes for each question, but you're just going to talk and you're going to be a human. So you have content there. Now you can put that into AI, and then you can tell it to write articles for every question that you answered and write emails for every question that you answered. And it will do a really, really good job, especially if we've done a little training for it. And I can do a whole episode on this, especially if you've done a little training for it in advance so that it understands how you write, how you speak. Are you more scientific in how you talk? Are you more like witty, or are you a storyteller? Like it can learn all of that. And then when we give it this information, it can produce an incredible level. So use that kind of stuff. Use that kind of stuff, and find ways to relate to the clients in your content. That's going to go a long ways. What does your life look like during the spring? How are you handling it? That can be some of the best content that people are going to resonate with. And like I talked about a little bit earlier, collaborations. Can we find ways to cross promote with some other businesses? I think we should always be thinking about this. How can we cross promote? How can we engage with businesses that springtime is maybe a boom for them, and we can kind of latch on to that? Or can we, find out where the attention is, and can we come in and provide value, right? Where are there areas that you can just provide value, which then increases the awareness about what you're doing? And if people have those problems, you're going to be the one they go to. So for us, like I said, we're running Transform in 4. That's going to be our kind of big push. We'll start mid-April. We'll end at Memorial Day. We usually end the Sunday before Memorial Day. Memorial Day is typically Monday. And so we want people to feel great when they're hitting the lake at that time, because that is our market. And so if that works for you, great, grab it. It's in the Coach Catalyst library. The marketplace is free. The program's entirely free. If you need the marketing material and everything else behind it, if you need lead magnets, if you need that kind of stuff, that's where Supercoach CRM comes in. We've developed that entire platform to serve coaches front end, right? We have a front end and we have a back end. We have attracting clients, and we have basically delivering on the promises that we make to clients. So we have attraction and we have delivery, and we should have different systems for them. So that's why we built Supercoach CRM, and the content is absolutely incredible. So definitely check that out. That would be helpful for you. We've got the special spring bundle going on right now, where you can essentially try the platform out, run some programs this spring for a limited time. And then if it works for you, great, keep going. If it doesn't, no big deal. So little recap on kind of our main points from today. Number one is there's a shift in messaging that needs to happen from Q1 to Q2. There's a rhythm. There's a different rhythm to Q2 than there was in Q1. So when we're thinking about our marketing plans and we're thinking about our content plans, just think about the conversation that's happening inside of your client's head. We're thinking a little shorter seasonal offers. 4 weeks is a really good time frame. Could go 21 days, but something as like a quick jumpstart into summer. Right. And so this is the springboard into summer. So we have to think about the conversations or the things I'm going to be doing in summer. I might be tank tops, shirtless, beach, lake, those kind of things. Whatever your market is doing, we want the program to prep them for that, so they feel confident when they hit that phase. Right. I want to add another one, just because I always talk about weight loss, fat loss, just because that's like the biggest market, but it's getting nice out. Maybe people are getting outside and playing pickleball. Cool. It could be a 21-day jumpstart so you don't get injured when you start playing pickleball. We can come up with a better hook than that, but like they're getting outside, they're playing more. One of their fears might be, I'm going to go get injured. Or one of their things could be to dominate my competition. It depends on like what's the mindset of your people. If you're dealing with athletes, it might be more towards domination. If you're dealing with older people, it could be being able to participate pain-free, right? So understanding your market, understanding what their fears are, what their concerns are, and what the perfect outcome is as well. Okay, so that's where we want this seasonal offer, really geared towards that, summertime. And then from a content standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, can we be relevant, right? Always be relevant. What's the conversation that's happening in people's heads? What are the problems they have now in Q2? Let's solve some of them through content. And then 2 is personality. Can we add more personality into our content in Q2? Can we add more personal in content too? Can we do more DMs? Can we do more voice memos? Can we do more video follow-ups? Those kind of things, even with our current clients, to really engage with them and build that connection. So I hope this stuff was helpful for you to help you start thinking about Q2 and how you can continue to build your business in Q2. Hopefully it gives you a few action items. If there's anything super cool that you're doing, like this is meant to be a community where we share things. There's not competition here. So drop it into the comments, tag me. It could be an awesome, maybe we bring you on a future episode to talk about it a little bit. I'm hoping next week to talk about email marketing a little bit more. I'm going to actually bring on case study with email marketing. So someone that is doing it in the real world. His name is Robin, and he's killing it with email marketing. And so we're going to talk through it, how he's doing it. And so if you want to learn a little bit more about email marketing, which should be one of our core marketing pillars, next week we're going to be talking about that. So you'll catch replays all over the place, Vimeo, in our Facebook group. So thanks for hanging out. I'll just refresh comments just to make sure I didn't miss anything. No, we're good. So I hope you guys have a great Tuesday, or whatever day you're watching this. We'll see you later. My name is Trevor. We'll see you later.